भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All Vishnu Prabhu
Hare Hare Bol.
Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Rato Jayamudiriat Shanamatam Swakatha Krishna Panya Shamana Kirtana Hardantai Subhadrani Vidnoti Sarsatam Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavasevya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. Hare Krishna, thank you all for joining for today morning Srimad Bhagavatam's class. So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3rd chapter 4 text number 20. So Vindhyavali Mataji, would you like to start? Could you chant for us? All right, I can start then. Sa evam aradhita padatirthat adhishta tattvatma vibodha marga pranamya padau parivratya devam iha gatoham vihiraturatma.
I'm sorry, I'm muted.
You can go ahead now.
Sa evam aradhita padatridhat adhita tatta tattva tatta tatta tattvatma vidbodhamagga pranamya padau parivratya devam ihagatoham virahaturatma sa evam aradhita padatri तीर्थात् आजिता तत्तात्म विबोध मार्गा प्राणाम्य पादौ परावृत्या देवम् इहागतोऽहं विरहातुरात्मा. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Devotees, please recite the verse.
Pardon?
Sa evam aradhita padatirthat. Please go ahead, Prabhu.
No, carry on, Prabhuji.
Adita tattvatma vibodha marga pranamya padau parivritya devam iha gatoham virahaturatma.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Saevam aradhita padotirtha adhitaha tattatma vibodha margam nomaya padau parivritta devam yagato aham virahuratma ma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Aradhita padatirtha adita tatatma vibodha marjaha pranamya pado parivritya devam ihagatoyam virahartra atma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sa evam aradita padatorta ahita tatvatma vibodha margaha pranamya padau parivritya devam ahagato aham varahaturatmaha. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sa evam aradhita padatirthad adit tattvatma vibodha marga प्रणम्य पादौ परिवृत्य देवाम् इहागतोऽहं वीरहातुरात्मा. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else want to recite? Okay, I'll start. Sa evam aradhita padatirthad adhita tattvatubodhamarga pranamya padau parivartya devam iha gatoam vihraturatma. Synonyms. Saha, so myself. Evam, thus. Aradhita, worshipped. Padatirthat, from the personality of Godhead. Adhita, studied. Tat Atma, self-knowledge. Vibodha, understanding. Marga, path. Pranamya, after saluting. Padau, at his lotus feet. Parivartya, after circumambulating. Devam, the Lord. Iya, at this place. Agata, reached. Aham, I. Virha, separation. Aturatma, aggrieved in self. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: I have studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead. And thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place, very much aggrieved due to separation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Sri Uddhava's actual life is a direct symbol of the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam, enunciated first to Brahmaji by the personality of Godhead. These four very great and important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam are particularly taken out by Mayavadi speculators who constitute a different purport to suit their impersonal view of monism. Here is a proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by postgraduate student of Bhagavad Gita. The unauthorized dry speculators are offenders at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna because they distort the purports of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare a direct path to the hell known as Andha Tamishra. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 16.20, such envious speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. They unnecessarily take shelter of the Sripad Shankaracharya, but he was not so drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. According to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripad Shankaracharya preached the Mayavadi philosophy for a particular purpose. Such a philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul. But it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. It was an emergency. Thus, Lord Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya, Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam because that would have been a direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. But later, speculators in the name of Mayavadi philosophy unnecessarily make their commentary on the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. The monistic drive speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them by the great author himself. Srila Vedvyasa is definitely forbidden person engaged in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is not meant for them. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2. Sripad Sridhar Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the salvinist or monist to deal in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. Yet such unauthorized persons perversely try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam and thus they commit offenses at the feet of the Lord, which even Sripad Shankaracharya dare not do. Thus they prepare for their continuation of miserable life. It should be particularly noted herein that Uddhava studied Chaturshloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who spoke them first to Brahmaji, and this time the Lord explained more confidentially is self-knowledge mentioned as a Paramam Sthitim. Upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved by the feeling of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, everlasting feeling of separation of the Lord in the transcendental love as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand real import of the four essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not indulge in the unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. Om Ajnana Timirdasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmitamina Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahim Dadati Swapalandika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahegana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahegana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namni Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गुरत्तु शर्मा पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तवतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्त शक्तिकं वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So this verse, I'll read the translation. I have studied the path of understanding self-knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead. And thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place very much aggrieved due to separation. So here, Uddhava is concluding his discussion with Vidura before going to Badrika Ashram. So, Krishna personally instructed Uddhava the knowledge, the self-realization knowledge. And this was particularly requested by Uddhava to Lord Krishna that he want to understand this knowledge directly from Krishna. In pastime, in Krishna's pastime, Uddhava actually, he was a disciple of Brihaspati. And he actually acted as a consultant to Lord Krishna in the revealed pastime there. But here we see, like, here his role is different. Uddhava is becoming a disciple of Lord Krishna. In the past time, we have seen many times that in various circumstances, Lord Krishna consulted Uddhava because he was very much knowledgeable on the political science and other subjects that he studied from sage Brihaspati. But here we see, like, from when it's come to spiritual knowledge, when it's come to spiritual understanding, Lord personally took the charge and he instructed Uddhava on the path of self-realization. Similar case we see, like, in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was actually acting as Satyaki and Arjuna. They were actually two bodyguards of Lord Krishna. Satyaki was primary and Arjuna also, like, played the role many times. But when it's come to, like, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna become the spiritual master and Arjuna become the disciple, and he heard Srimad Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. So this very important thing here, Uddhava is highlighting that he understands this self-knowledge from Lord Shri Krishna. And Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that See, Uddhava's actual life is direct symbol of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So most of you already know Chatushloki Bhagavatam, so there is nothing much to say. But one thing that I want to highlight is here that Chatushloki Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Vedas give understanding of three important subjects, which is Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Pariyojana. And Chatushloki Bhagavatam, there are 4 verses which actually emphasize on these 3 subjects. Sambandha Tattva is specifically talking about the science of Krishna, understanding Krishna and our relationship with Krishna. And Abhidheya is a process of achieving our goal of life, which is Lord Shri Krishna, the devotional service, pure bhakti. And finally, Pariyojana is our Prema Bhakti, where we are going to get the love of Godhead. So these 3 things are here. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that Uddhava's life is actual, is the direct symbol of those Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Means he completely understood and implemented this Sambandha Abhidheya and Pariyojana Tattva in his personal life. One thing that Prabhupada mentioned in the first paragraph of this purport is that many times we see these Mayavadi philosophers, they try to twist the meaning of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. They try to explain that this Chatushloki Bhagavatam, that the Brahman is the topmost, not the Bhagavan. So as we know, the absolute truth is realized. There are 3 aspects of the absolute truth: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Mayavadi philosopher, they try to say that supreme is Brahman, not Bhagavan. And Prabhupada mentioned here they took these 4 verses specifically from Srimad Bhagavatam. 4 verses specifically from Srimad Bhagavatam, particularly taken by Mayavadi speculator, and they constitute a different meaning of impersonalism out of that. And Prabhupada said, here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by postgraduate student of Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada mentioned here that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the postgraduate study of Bhagavad Gita. So where Bhagavad Gita ends, Srimad Bhagavatam starts. The last verse of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Partajya, not the last verse, actually the last instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is Sarva Dharman Partajya Mamekam Shanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarpapebhyo Mokshashyami Mashucha. And Bhagavatam start with the first question raised by the first question raised by the sages in Naimisharan, that what is the ultimate duty? What is the ultimate duty for all the living entities? And Sutta Goswami explains that Savai punsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radokshri ahitu kiya priyataya atma suprasridadi. The duty of all the living entity is to unconditional devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is like Prabhupada here say this is a postgraduate study. So once we study Srimad Bhagavad Gita and accepted Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we can enter into the intricacies of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the postgraduate study. So these unauthorized and dry speculators are offender at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Why Prabhupada is saying they are offender? Because they are twisting the meaning. They are twisting the meaning rather than where Krishna is personally explaining these verses that I, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Bhagavan. But instead of that, they are not accepting Krishna's body as real. They are accepting Krishna's body as a product of Maya, and they're trying to like establish Brahman as a supreme. So that's why Prabhupada say that they are offenders at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, because they do not accepting Krishna's body as transcendental. So Prabhupada said because they distort the purports of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead public and prepare a direct path to the hell known as Andha Tamishra. So it's very interesting actually, like sometimes I feel like, this Mayavadis, even though they are follower of Vedas, they strictly follow Vedas, and they actually they live very austere life to the instructions of Vedas and all. But because they offend at the lotus feet of the Lord, even though they do so much austerity in their life, they actually go to the hell. As Prabhupada say that they are making their path directed to the hell, known under the Mishra, because they are offending at the lotus feet of the Lord. The people who are non-devotee, they have a chance to come back to the devotional life or by the instruction of the devotees. But if somebody goes on the path of Mayavad, then it's become very difficult. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that whoever hear the commentary from a Mayavadi preachers or Mayavadi philosophers about Srimad Bhagavatam, then they are basically cannot come back. So it's very difficult because they twisted the meaning such a way that instead of accepting Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead, they start accepting Krishna's body as material, which is very difficult for devotee to come back. So here Prabhupada mentioned that these Mayavadi philosophers or unauthorized speculators, they actually were the path of Andatta Mishra. And Prabhupada also quoted this verse from Bhagavad Gita 16:20. He says that envious speculators are without knowledge and surely condemned life after life. People who are envious to Krishna, not accepting Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are trying to commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. They will never be able to make progress in their life. So, and then here, this is an interesting part here. Prabhupada actually quoted that the Acharya of the Mayavadi philosophy school, Sripa Shankaracharya, and this is Adi Shankaracharya. Actually, nowadays, you might see like in social media, many Shankaracharyas are giving thoughts and all, but they are all different mathas. There are 4 mathas that Shankaracharya actually established in India. So you see in the news so many Shankaracharyas coming and talking. So it's not that Shankaracharya. So here we are talking about Adi Shankaracharya, who's the first, he's like incarnation of Lord Shiva. So here Prabhupada said, they unnecessarily take shelter of Sripa Shankaracharya, but he was not so drastic as to commit an offense as a Lord Shri Krishna. So Sripa Shankaracharya never put a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam. Here Prabhupada especially bring this point that according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripa Shankaracharya preached the Mayavadi philosophy for a particular purpose. And that purpose was to defeat the Buddhist philosophy. We know that at the time, beginning of Kali Yuga, many people were many Brahmanas, they were performing yagyas. And in the Vedas, there is a mention of animal sacrifice in the yagyas. Gomid yagya, Shumid yagya, those kind of things were there. But those Brahmans were not pure, not qualified, but they were using those yagyas as Vedas as a tool to perform those yagyas and killing so many innocent animals. And then Lord Buddha preached the philosophy to defeat them. And ultimately, Lord Buddha preached this Buddhist philosophy, which is voidism. But so Sripa Shankaracharya came with a purpose to defeat the Buddhist philosophy. And he was very successful that he driven out all the Buddhist philosophers out from India back to the South Asian countries. We know that Ashoka, who was a king in India, he actually preached Buddhist philosophy all over India. But later, Sripa Shankaracharya and his followers, they actually throw this Buddhist philosophy out from India and then establish this Mayavadi philosophy. This is another problem. So but it was an emergency, as Prabhupada says that was an emergency. It was an emergency. So why Krishna did that? That because it was just to basically take this Buddhist philosophy out first. And then later we see that all the Vaishnavacharyas came and they established the Vaishnava philosophy. So here Prabhupada said, thus Lord Shri Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya as a Supreme Personality of Godhead in commentation of Bhagavad Gita. Vasudev Sutam Devam Kansa Charun Mardanam. That was that Krishnam Vande Jagadguru.
Devaki Paramananda Krishnam
Krishnam
Vande
Vande
Jagadguru.
So Lord Shri Shankaracharya accepted Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he himself like composed this Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam Mudmati. So, but his followers do not accept that. And they are only interested in the Mayavadi philosophy. So Prabhupada says that since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, so she means Lord Sripad Shankaracharya or Lord Shiva, he's a great devotee. He's a topmost Vaishnava. Vaishnava Nam Yatha Shambhu. He did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam because that would be direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. But later speculators, in the name of Mayavadi philosophy, unnecessarily make their commentary on Chatushloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. So we should be very careful that not to read those commentaries, like nowadays, because this is like social media and all, people are now so many things are floating on social media. So we should be careful that we should not get trapped by these Mayavadi philosophers, because there are so many commentaries are available nowadays. Previously, like only people who have access to books, they used to read it, but now with the internet media, like so many commentaries are available online. So we should not refer any commentary until as they are referred written by the Vaishnava philosophers. And here in the second paragraph, Srila Prabhupada mentioned this, even this monastic idea, monism was thrown by Srila Vedvyas Muni in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma parojit kaitvotra paramo nirmasaram sadam. So when Vedvyas Muni composed Srimad Bhagavatam, before that, in the second verse itself, he thrown this idea out from Srimad Bhagavatam that there is no place of dharma, artha, kama and moksha. This kata of dharma is not allowed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what Prabhupada mentioned here, that these dry speculators have no business in Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them by great author himself. So this, like in the second verse, even Srila Vedvyas Muni said that there's no business. If anybody interested in dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or even salvation, they don't need to come to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam does not provide those things. Srimad Bhagavatam is pure bhakti, to getting love of God. And even the Sripad Sridhar Swami, who is the first commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, he actually has forbidden the salvagist or monist to deal in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. Interestingly, actually, in Bhakti in Tattva Sandarbha, Srila Jiva Goswami mentioned that Sripad Sridhar Swami actually like invited Mayavadis to study Srimad Bhagavatam in Vaishnava way. So he was a little lenient, but still he did not allow like a Mayavadi philosopher over there. But if you see Jiva Goswami's Sandarbha, he clearly mentioned that there is no place for Mayavadis in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He actually did not consider those verses where Sridhar Swami was a little soft on Mayavad. He was a little soft on Mayavad, but still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Sridhar Swami's commentary as the first commentary. So that's why for us, like it's like a bona fide commentary. So we studied that. But still, like Srila Jiva Goswami has clearly cleaned all the Mayavadis from Srimad Bhagavatam in his Sandarbhas. Here Prabhupada further say, yet such unauthorized person try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, thus they commit offense at the lotus feet of the Lord, which even Sripad Shankaracharya dared not to. Even Sripad Shankaracharya did not do any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, but this Mayavadi commentator or speculator, they try to deal with this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a great offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. So now I'll as this verse mentioned that Uddhava lived his life according to this Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So Uddhava never see himself different from Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was always serving the lotus feet of the Lord and always engaging in bhakti. His whole life, Uddhava's whole life was basically serving Krishna. And now from here onward, he's discussing with Vidura, and later he's going to go to Badrika Ashram. So ultimately, like here, Prabhupada says that it should be particularly noted herein that Uddhava studied the Chatushloki Bhagavatam directly from Supreme Lord, who spoke first to Brahmaji. See, one interesting point here is like Srila Prabhupada mentioned this Brahmaji everywhere, and many times I see that devotees, even in like even in ISKCON, like many Vaishnavas, we try to criticize demigod very, very loosely, like, hey, demigods, like who do my gods, like they are so fallen, like Brahma, Shiva, like or Indra and all. But here Prabhupada is saying that Brahmaji. So here Srila Prabhupada giving so much respect even to demigods, Many times I see many devotees, they preach, but they say they do not give much respect to demigod. I know, like, we have to say that we have to preach Krishna as supreme personality of Godhead, but we have to be very careful that we should not offend demigod also. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving so much respect to Lord Brahma by saying Brahma Ji. Like Ji is basically is a giving great respect to a very senior person, like, in a Vedic culture, Because Lord Brahma is none other than he is the Swambhu. He appeared from the navel of the lotus coming out from the navel of Lord Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So he is the direct son of Lord Vishnu, and he's like our Acharya also. Our Acharya is like our Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, started from Lord Brahma only. So especially like we should give respect to all the demigods, like even though they are living entities, they are not in the tattva, but because they are great servitor of Lord Shri Krishna, then we should give them full respect. And here Prabhupada said, this time the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge mentioned as Paramam Sthitim. So Uddhava requested in previous verses, we see verse number 18 and 19, where Uddhava requested Lord Shri Krishna, especially these 4 verses that he spoke to Brahmaji. So he want to know, because these verses were given originally to Lord Brahma, then later these verses were expanded by Vedyas Muni into Srimad Bhagavatam. And then same thing we see in Vedanta Sutra. That knowledge is given in Vedanta Sutra also. The same 3 concepts, Sambandha, Abhideya, and Pariyojana. In the last section of the purport here, Prabhupada says that upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhava felt very much aggrieved by feeling of separation. This is our Sampradaya, like Bhava, Vipralamba Bhava. Here. So Uddhava was also feeling so much separation from Lord Krishna. He was thinking that how can I live? We see like in all the pastimes in Krishna Lila, all the devotees, as soon as they become separated from Krishna, it's become difficult for them to stay in this material world. Even we see Pandavas, when they heard that Krishna left this material world and went back home, back to Godhead, they immediately decided that they will not going to live here even for a moment. So Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakul, Sahadev, they all left their home, and they ultimately they left this material world. So here Uddhava is also in the same feeling that he cannot really survive without Krishna here. So for that, he is basically like feeling this separation from Krishna so intense that he is like not able to stay in this material for long. So here Prabhupada says that unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhava, which is everlasting feeling of separation of the Lord in transcendental love as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand the real import of 4 essential virtues of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should be like, if in order to understand these 4 verses, we should be in the feeling of separation for Krishna. We should develop this feeling that how I can live without Krishna in this material world. So this feeling of separation is the key, Prabhupada said, to understand this Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. Sambandha, Abhideya, Pariyojana. These 3 tattvas we can understand when we have an intense greed of love of Godhead. And finally, like, one should not indulge in unauthorized act of twisting and meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. So finally, Prabhupada is giving instruction for all of us that we should be very careful not to commit any offenses. Whether it's like a name, we have different offenses like name of the holy name of the offenses, and then we have Vaishnava offenses, and especially here, Prabhupada saying that do not read any commentary than the Vaishnava commentaries, especially Mayavadi commentaries. Do not go there, that side, because that's a great offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also instructed that if we read Mayavadi philosophy, then it will destroy our devotional life. So we should be very careful not to indulge in any those philosophies, because there are, as I say, like nowadays, devotees are very much interested in learning or giving some different interpretations. Yesterday I was hearing one class which was given by my godbrother, his grace Hari Parshad Prabhu in Vrindavan. So there he was explaining that this sometime like he was giving explanation on one of the pastime on from 10th canto. So in a 10th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there are pastimes of Lord Krishna, and in that pastime, our acharyas and many other acharyas, they have given the spiritual aspect of those pastimes. So there is a pastime, and then there is spiritual aspect of those pastimes. So many times people take those spiritual aspects more seriously than the pastime. And then what happened is that because of that, people start thinking or where they preach those spiritual aspects so strongly that pastime becomes secondary. And because of that, people think that those pastimes were fictitious, and those essence were the point that they are going to say, that is become more prominent. But we should be careful not to do that, because if we're going to establish more on those things, then our pastime will become like secondary, and that's a great offense, because in reality those pastimes were happened. Because that's why many people like say that Hindu philosophy or this Vedic philosophy is mythology, and they are all done to give some meaning, some instruction for the people. So these pastimes were constructed in such a way that the meaning will be delivered. But actually it's not. It's a different thing. Pastimes were performed, the pastimes were there, but the meanings were basically given by our acharya for our understanding, not to really say that those meanings were there and the pastimes were performed on that basis. So because that's again understanding that Mayavadis took that way, and that they try to demean the spiritual aspects of the pastime. So we have to be careful not to go there, so that we cannot make offenses on the devotional life. So with that said, I'll just stop now here, and if I see if anyone have any comment or any questions on today's verses. Or you may want to give any reflections or any corrections.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It's a nice understanding, nice class, and how Uddhava felt that separation from Krishna. So because he did that Sambandha, Videya, and Prayojana, he did all those three things. That's why he could feel that separation, and he understood totally the Chatusloka, whatever Krishna told him. So that was really amazing. If we do like that, and totally we can understand what are those things, and how what Krishna told us. That's really something. And even he told to Brahma, that's what I thought, and now I had to practice those things. Samandha, Videya, and then Prayojana. I felt like that, Prabhu. I don't know whether I am right or not.
No, I think that's great, Mata. If as Prabhupada mentioned that we have to follow our acharyas, whatever they recommend for us, and especially like the pure devotees, we have to follow their path, the way they actually the way they actually perform devotional service, that should be a great example for all of us to follow. As Srila Prabhupada say that our main instruction that Prabhupada gave us to like daily chanting 16 rounds every day,
Yeah.
or regular day principle, attending Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning and every day, Nityam Bhagavad Sevya. Preaching is our essence. We have to preach every day, because if we preach, then we keep ourselves purified. So we have to follow whatever Srila Prabhupada has given the path. I won't say that because Sri Uddhava was in direct contact with Krishna, but for us, our only connection through the devotional or Lord Sri Krishna is through our spiritual master. So
Yeah.
whatever instruction our spiritual master gave, we should actually follow that seriously. And we are sure that by the mercy of our spiritual master and Krishna, that we should be able to achieve this stage, what we are looking for, this Vipralamba Bhav.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely. I think like as long as we follow the instruction of our spiritual master, then we definitely be able to reach that stage someday. Even I feel that same thing.
But one question I have, Prabhu, when he was telling Uddhava, that is Maitreya Muni was there too?
Yes. When Krishna was speaking to Uddhava at that time, Maitreya Muni was also hearing along with Uddhava. Because same information, because when Krishna gave instruction to Uddhava, so Maitreya Muni was listening and he instructed Maitreya Muni that Maitreya Muni, you go and give this information to Vidura. So Maitreya Muni is going to give that information. This third canto is basically, or third, fourth, and fifth. There are three cantos. They were actually spoken by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. Uddhava will go to the Badrika ashram, because Uddhava was in feeling of so much separation that he could not speak so much. He said that, oh, I can't speak it. Then because Vidura was saying, please tell me what Krishna gave you the full knowledge, whatever about me. Then Uddhava says that, well, Krishna specifically instructed Maitreya Muni to give you that information. And
okay.
I have to go there.
Because there was no mention that Maitreya Muni's name there.
Yeah. No, because Maitreya Muni was there, and that's why Krishna instructed Maitreya Muni that you should give the information to Vidura, because he knows that he's going to meet Vidura later. So he will give the information. Uddhava would have not given, because he was in feeling of separation. Krishna knows that Uddhava will not be able to give that information. So especially this understanding. So that's why he's going to move to Badrika ashram and then later to spiritual world. But here we see Maitreya Muni is going to speaking to this Vidura, next three cantos. And from the sixth canto, Sukdev Goswami will take the sixth canto, and then seventh canto we'll see Narada Muni speaking, and then eighth canto Sukdev Goswami.
Okay.
Like this is speakers are switching.
Yes.
But only Srila Sut Goswami is relaying all these discussions that he is hearing from Sukdev Goswami, Maitreya Muni, Narada Muni, and all these great devotees of the Lord.
It's really, if we think of those days, how blessed they are, They're very much blessed. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. We are also blessed as long as we follow the instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Nice class. No, but preaching is also not easy for everybody. I don't think so. You're saying that you just listen and then preach, but not everybody can do that. Don't you think so, bro?
My understanding is this: if we follow what Prabhupada says, word by word, then we can preach. I just follow. My only qualification is that I try to follow each and every word what Prabhupada is writing. That's all. I'm not even moving because I go word by word. Like even you see whenever I go word by word. That's the only way I can preach. Otherwise, if you miss it or if you speak on your own, then
the connection will go.
I'm not qualified for that.
No.
My only qualification is I just follow Prabhupada. That's all.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you very much, Prabhu, for nice class.
Thank you, Mataji. Dronacharya Prabhu, you have some comments?
Thank you, Ramcharan Prabhu. A really nice class. Thank you so much. I was reflecting on your point about demigod worship and how sometimes we're accustomed to thinking very lowly of the demigods. We almost speak of them in a way that they're ordinary souls, and they're really advanced, so much more advanced than we could even imagine. And I remember early on when I started practicing Krishna consciousness, there was a young man who used to come to the temple, and he would always fast on Tuesday. And he was always saying, "Oh, I fast on Tuesday because this is my fast to Lord Shiva." And we would sometimes make fun of him, like, always kind of less because he's following these karmakandic activities. And but we kind of had this mentality. But later I began to appreciate it. This is actually kind of a nice austerity that he's doing. Not many people actually have this determination even to do something like that. So there was some intention there, but my question is, how do we bring a person along who maybe through family tradition are maybe attached to some of these rituals of demigod worship, and bring them to the understanding of Krishna Bhakti, and that these things aren't necessary. And I guess the other question is, if one practices Krishna Bhakti, do these other activities like fasting or worshiping of demigods, do they have to end, or can they continue simultaneously?
So my understanding is again like whatever I heard from Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj. So I agree with you, like because even when I start coming to Krishna consciousness, I was seeing that many times we, even in our lectures and all, when we see hearing that we try to give very low position for demigods. And when I preach people, the people who are the worshipper of demigod, they feel very much offended with that. Like if sometimes they say, well, Lord Shiva is lower than Lord Krishna. If somebody is worshipping Lord Shiva whole life, right? And we are saying, well, Lord Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. These demigods are like, they are sometimes even we say like they are under Maya or something like that, and they feel very offended by that. I like and sometimes I feel that heat. They say, how come you are saying that only Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Only Krishna is there. Why you guys are just only use con devotees, just only preaching Krishna, and then you are not really there. Like, so when I speak, then I later, like I thought like, so I start when the people who are demigod, first of all, we should give them a respect that what they are doing is right and they're according to Vedas. See, demigod worship is not like a sinful activity. It is recommended in Vedas. So we have to accept that yes, you are worshipping demigod. It is recommended in Vedas. You are not like sometimes we show demigod worship as something which is sinful. Like you guys are worshiping demigod. You are so lowly like that. So we should not do that. First of all, we should not puffed up that we are worshipper of Lord Krishna.
Yeah.
So myself, I always feel that, well, I worship Lord Krishna because I have some reason which I can explain them. But point is that because you are worshipping Lord Shiva, or you are worshipping Durga, or you are worshipping Ganesha, you are also doing great job. But then I actually try to understand from them that what is your purpose of worship? Why you worship Lord Shiva? Why you worship Durga? Why you worship Ganesha? Why you worship Indra or whoever? So they say, well, we don't want anything. We just want to worship. I say, do you have any intention behind the worship? Because generally in Vedas, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukdev Goswami mentioned in second canto that people go to demigod for some purpose. They have some intention behind that. And I try to get their intention that why they want to worship the demigod. What is the reason behind them? So then they say, well, we worship because of our family worship. We worship because of we have this or that. So then fine, like, okay, I said, for that you can worship. But are you interested in getting love of Godhead? Are you interested in getting even liberation out of this material world? So then they say, yeah, we are interested in that also. Then I said, then you have to come to Krishna. Then you have to come to Krishna, because demigod cannot award liberation. Demigod can give you some benefits, but they cannot give you ultimate liberation, because then you have to come to Krishna, and then you have to surrender to Krishna. That's the way, actually, like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita explains. So once they come to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I try to bring them to Bhagavad Gita. Actually, what happens is, these people who are worshipper of demigod, they studied other scriptures and all, but they accept Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and but they don't read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And my point is that as soon as they come to Bhagavad Gita, they say, well, I accept Bhagavad Gita. Then I say, okay, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? So if they accept Bhagavad Gita, then they cannot deny that what Krishna is saying there. And then I say that, okay, if you accept Bhagavad Gita as a truth, supreme truth, then what Krishna is saying, you have to accept it. It's not me. I never say that I always say that I follow what Krishna is saying. And
That's
if you want
true.
to follow, you follow that. I do not become Krishna devotee because I want to become Krishna devotee. I become Krishna devotee by Krishna is saying that you become my devotee. So I put everything on Krishna. So that way heat is out of from me. Then why you are worshipping? I say, if you have some, you should study what Krishna is saying. And if Krishna is saying that you worship me, then I worship Krishna. So like we should give them respect. That's, I agree with you, like, because they are better than materialistic people. At least they are following some Vedic principle. They are doing some religiosity. They are doing some vratas or whatever is there. But we should basically bring them to Krishna in such a way that their motivation of life should change. Right now, their motivation of life is materialistic. And I try to bring them like, okay, you should try to become spiritual. You try to become like a love of Godhead. You try to go to the back to Godhead, because demigod cannot give this. And then how come is that? Many times I got this challenge also, like, well, how come demigod cannot give liberation? Then I give this Bhagavad Gita verse 925, where Krishna says that if you worship demigod, you go to demigod. If you worship these pitras, like your forefathers, you go to forefather. If you worship me, you come to me. And I say, like, this is Krishna is saying clearly, and especially like, and then they say, well, then so liberation means Vaikuntha, and I say Vaikuntha means where Lord Krishna is. Demigods are not in Vaikuntha. So then they become, oh, really? That's so slowly we have to change their thing, rather than targeting that they are not doing that's not good for them to do demigod. We say, okay, you can do continue. That's not a problem. I'm not changing your faith. What I'm saying, you develop a faith on Krishna. As I think that's what Prabhupada even says when Prabhupada came to Western countries here. He said, we are not here to convert anyone. We are here to give you some Krishna consciousness. So rather than I'm saying that I'm stopping your demigod worship, I'm saying I'm giving Krishna worship. You do that also. So when you start worshiping Krishna, you chant Hare Krishna, you study Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, then slowly they will basically think, well, where should I go? Should I go like demigod path? Should I go to Krishna path? They will make a choice. Even I'm not saying other people, even myself also. Like, I was not a demigod worshipper, but I was when I came to Krishna consciousness, I was not sure whom to worship. So many people are like that. But again, like we should as a devotees, when we preach, we should not criticize demigod in front of their worshippers. They feel very bad about that. If you make that mistake that, oh, they are lowly, they really do not belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tattva, and all those kind of things. So and they will start becoming against ISKCON for that. And like many people don't say on our face, but behind the scene they think like that, and they actually give wrong impression about that. So I stopped doing that in front of them. I just only preach what Krishna is saying, and if they have any objection on that, then I say, okay, then we can discuss. But what their practice is, let them do it, their practice. Let them do their practice, because they have faith and they have their own scriptures. Let them follow. And I'm not even saying that their scriptures are lowly. Sometimes we say, well, their scriptures are in mode of ignorance or mode of rajoguna. So they say, how come is that? How come you are deciding that? You become challenged like that. So I said, I just try to bring them to Bhagavad Gita somehow or other. You come to Bhagavad Gita and then we'll discuss. And once they come to Bhagavad Gita, then
true.
all their weapons are gone.
Yeah,
They
that's
can't do anything when they come to Bhagavad Gita. That's what I feel. I generally say, like, once they come to Bhagavad Gita, then I say read it, and if you decide what is the meaning of that. You can get the commentary from various commentator, doesn't matter. And then you come and then study Bhagavad Gita, and then you will decide yourself. So that's my approach. Maybe other people might have a different approach, but I don't know. Does it answer your question, bro?
Yeah, no, it does. Thank you. I appreciate you elaborating on that.
All right. Okay. Thank you all. Any other questions, comments anyone have? Okay. So thank you
very
all.
much, Prabhu.
We'll end now. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu vevacha.
Pavane Vaishnavebhyo